Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good evening. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. We got some breaking news, or something that has been breaking. I got a little late here. I'm sorry, guys, but you know, your man needs to eat too. You know what I'm saying? So I had to smash some food really quick so we can get into this conversation, get into this breaking news. Okay. And here's the thing, guys. I've been covering this case. Yeah. I've been covering this case. So for some of y'all are going like, I didn't know anything about this. This is the reason why you must make sure that you have that notification set to all, because I've been doing shorts on this case, 2 of them so far, just so you know. But anyway, I'll explain here in just a little bit. We've been talking about this since it became a conversation, okay? So, before we get into everything, before we get into the meat and potatoes, before we get into the nitty gritty and all of that stuff, please do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Crush it, do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. Please and thank you. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, I'm on all of them. So make sure you hit that follow button on those platforms. I highly recommend you guys. Not only do you go and subscribe here on my YouTube channel, make sure you're following me on my Facebook page, because there's a lot of updates that I'm giving you guys about these kind of cases and many others that I'm not doing in video format, that I'm not doing in video form, in video style. They're coming out as posts and articles, all that. So make sure you follow me on my Facebook page, please. All right. But of course, make sure you're subscribing here on my YouTube channel. Subscribe. Go check out the Pascal Show clips and Pascal Raw. Hit that notification bell. This is very important. Hit that notification bell and set it to all, so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload. Because honestly, they're coming as shorts. They're coming as long formatted video on demand, pop-up videos, I like to call them. And they're coming here as lives. So if you're not fully aware that I'm covering these cases, I am. Sometimes they're in shorter formats, okay? So make sure you have that notification set to all, so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, okay? Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. Go check it out. PascalMerch.com. Okay, guys. We have got to get into this conversation. This is a very interesting situation, because I feel like this is another Emmanuel Haro situation, but or maybe not. It's weird, because I keep on wondering, did this young girl, Melodee Buzzard, did she get moved? Okay, was she? I got to use these code words, which is really annoying. But was she moved? Was she teed? Okay. Was she like sold or something? Or was she unalived and then discarded on the side of the road somewhere? That's the thing. I hate to ask those questions, but this 9-year-old, Melodee Buzzard, by the way, this is not what she looks like anymore. This is an older photo of her, an older photo of her. Okay, where she's much younger in the photo. But this young girl has not been found, has not been seen by any of her family members, her loved ones, etc. What's very interesting about this particular case is that the mother, her mother, we'll just say her biological mama, all right? Because this might be a situation, which it clearly sounds like it is. Sounds like a situation where she shouldn't be a mom in the first place, but I digress. The mom took her in early October, and it seems like they just went on a road trip. She rented a car and they went on a road trip. And don't worry, we're going to be going through this whole thing. We're going to go through the timeline because I know a lot of y'all don't know what's going on. And honestly, this is the first time I've done a live talking about this, but I've done shorts in about this, about 2 minutes to 3 minute long shorts talking to you guys about this. Okay? Now, here's the thing. This little girl got into a rental with her mom, Melodee Buzzard. And then they took off from Lompoc. But here's the thing. Very much kind of like a Brian Laundrie situation where she came back with the vehicle, but Melodee was nowhere to be found in the car. So again, very, very interesting situation here, okay, where a lot of people are trying to figure out what's going on, okay? Hold on, I'm just checking this thing out. That's funny. Sorry, your comments are hilarious. But anyway, kind of racist. Kind of, just a little racist. We all don't look alike, y'all. Just so you know, we all don't look alike. Okay? Just so you know. Okay? But I digress. Let us get into this conversation. All right? Thing is that Melodee has been nowhere to be found. We're still trying to find out where she is. Ashley came back home. Okay? Ashley came back home without her daughter. Okay? Without her 9-year-old daughter. Now, what's really interesting about this is that the biological father of Melodee passed away a little while back. So it's just her and her mom. It's just Melodee and Ashley, and that's it. All right. Family members have not seen Melodee in years because Ashley has been basically been holding her up, just having her hold up without her extended family being able to see her for years. Don't worry, we're going to get into all of this and then some. But then something recently happened where police released photos of Melodee, okay, that I want to share with y'all here too, or at least a photo. This is not the best one, but this is what they believe a most recent photo of Melodee. And I truly think that this is her. I truly think that this is Melodee. And she's rocking a wig in this photo. Now, I want you to know this. Family members say that Ashley's mother, okay, has been going through, not Ashley's mother, Melodee's mother, Ashley, has been going through some mental health issues. Apparently she's going through some mental health issues for sure, okay? Melodee's mom is known to wear wigs. Now you have her wearing, allegedly her, caught on surveillance cameras, rocking wigs as well. Okay? Just want to make this abundantly clear. It is very interesting. We don't know if this is entirely 110% her or not. It does look a lot like her, in my personal opinion. And I think, if I'm correct, if my memory serves me correctly, family members do believe that this could very well be her, Melodee, okay, in surveillance footage before she disappeared and was never to be heard or seen from ever again. So again, There are some very interesting things that are going on here. There's some very strange dynamics going on with this whole case. And of course, we're going to talk about all of it, the timeline and everything. But let's talk about where we're at right now. And where we're at right now, which is why you're seeing the title above or down below, wherever you're watching this show right here. It's because FBI finally is searching the home of Ashley Buzzard. Now, here's the other thing, too. Ashley Buzzard, I forgot to say this. Ever since she came back and people have been wondering where Melodee be, she has not been cooperating with police, which, again, that screams very much Emmanuel Haro type of situation, except we didn't hear her say anything about somebody going and saying, hola, and then punching her in the face. We haven't heard anything like that at all. All we know is that they went on a road trip. As far, if I'm correct, they went out to the likes of Kansas City to Nebraska or something like that. And then she came back home without her daughter. What actually happened here, right? Did Melodee just up and run away? Or did something else nefarious happen to this 9-year-old girl? So let's take a look at this. Like I said, we're going to start from where we are now, and then we're going to go back, and do a little bit of a timeline, talk about the everything leading up to where we are today. Okay. Even so, I will say this too. There is even footage of the mom, Ashley, recent footage of her going to places where they're actually holding up or putting up missing posters, like basically saying, where's Melodee? And let's find Melodee, that kind of thing. And she's actually going over there and she is tearing down the signs. There's footage of her caught in not 4K, it's more like 2040, but still caught on surveillance footage of her ripping down signs. Very, very odd. This screams like there's so many different things. Okay. It screams Emmanuel Haro. It screams Sebastian Rogers. It's got a little bit of Gabby Petito in there. There's like a peppering of all different. There's a cornucopia of different things going on at the same doggone time. Okay. And I'm also curious, as far as the FBI searching the home, what are they going to find? Let me just break something down to you, okay? Oh, Letitia Stout. Yeah, Letitia Stout. The Soto situation, with pig vomit. All right. Madeline Soto, may she rest in peace. May all of them that I've mentioned rest in peace, okay? At least the ones that have been found, okay? Because 2 of them out of that conversation has not been found. Emmanuel is nowhere to be found. And Sebastian, we don't know where he is. Shoot, he could be alive. He could be gone. We don't know. Ain't that about to shut your mouth? But anyway, the reason why I'm saying is, what are they going to find? You want to know why I'm saying this? It's because she rented a car. She took a rental and then they went on a road trip. They drove. They kicked rocks. Okay? They ventured out into the great unknown. And then she came back sans Melodee, right? Now, unless they actually have the car in their possession, what could they possibly find in the house that would be a red flag, smoking gun evidence? Unless there's some sort of weapon that they need to find. And that's possible. That could be possible. Okay? Just going in, finding a weapon if something bad happened to her in that way. But here's the thing. We still don't know. She might have just gotten out of the car and ran, baby. That's still possible. It's still very possible. You got to remember, mom is not very well. She's not mentally well. There could have been something that happened that made her run. Or the other thing, which is something that people have been theorizing, conspirizing lately, that maybe she was sold. I know that sounds very disturbing, but we have to put all those things on the table because nothing has been confirmed yet. We do not know where this young girl is. We do not know what actually happened to her, right? Now that's the other thing too, Vicky. You smart, okay? Just like everybody else in here. But you. That's a good question. You smart. Good job, girl. Yes, yes, Vicky. Yes. Okay, Hercules. Yes. That's what I'd like to know too. Did they trace the rental car? Right? And I'm assuming that they did, because they did find out that she hopped around. She went to a couple different places. She didn't go just from like Lompoc to like LA. She went to a few different places on this road trip and then came back to Lompoc. So like I said, I got questions. And is it too little too late now? Because I mean, tomorrow is Halloween. Okay. Tomorrow's boo, you know what I mean? Day. Not boo day. It's boo day, right? So I'm wondering, and she's been gone for weeks now. So I'm wondering, what could they have found so far, right? That would lock them down. Now, I'm assuming, yes, you're right. Dee free. All rentals are tracked. Obviously. Come on now. If they weren't tracked, can you imagine how many rentals would be stolen by now? Everybody would be driving a car with like the Enterprise insignia on the side. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? So, of course, rentals are tracked, but is that enough? Is that enough? So let me pull some things up here. First off, let's take a look at this. But Belinda, thank you so much for the love. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. Okay. Oh, and Rianne, thank you so much. Hey, for gifting 1 membership. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Welcome to the family. Whoever became a member. All I ask for you to do is, Rianne just gave you some love. She just gave you some positivity. All I ask for you to do is pay it forward, okay? Open the door for somebody, okay? Open the door for somebody. Do something positive for somebody. I don't know. Make somebody a sandwich, even if they're like, damn, I'm full, but thank you so much for the sandwich. We are in a time right now where we're all hungry, all right? Food stamps gone. Like I said, in the next couple of days, it's going to be insane out here. I have a feeling. Okay? I'm being real. I got a feeling that Walmart won't be a place that you want to go for the next week. Okay? I'm sorry. I just have a feeling. It is not going to be a place that you want to be. Okay? It's Sans American Express. It's everywhere. You know what I mean? It's the opposite of that. Okay? We're dealing with some ish. Okay? So here's the thing. We got some crazy stuff going on. FBI is searching the home right now of the missing Santa Barbara County girl, which is absolutely crazy to me. Okay? And Belinda, like Black Friday probably. Yeah, it's going to be kind of like Black Friday, kind of, sort of, except nobody paying for not a damn thing. And cops running after people, pushing carts filled with food for their hungry children. I don't know if that's a joke or not, but there's a joke in there somewhere. Okay, I think people are going to go losing their damn minds. And no, and what's crazy is that they're not going to be fighting over that Tickle Me Elmo. No. So it ain't going to be like Black Friday. They're going to be fighting over that loaf of bread. And then they're going to be fighting police over that loaf of bread that they fought to get into their basket, to get into their car, so they can get it into the mouths of their children. Like I said, it's going to be nuck and futz. Okay? And allegedly, they're talking about the 3rd of November. I know this is off topic like a mug, but that's what they're saying right now. November 3rd, apparently it's going down in them grocery streets. Just so you know. All right. So go grocery shopping now. Because here's the thing. If you aren't or are using SNAP benefits, you can't use it anymore. So you might as well go shopping now so that on the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever, you're not dealing with some problems. Just saying that out loud because I care for you guys. I love y'all. And I just don't think the Walmart streets, these grocery streets are going to be smooth sailing for a little while, unless some miracle happens tomorrow. And I doubt that's going to happen. But let's get into this conversation. We'll talk about that later. Okay. I've been wanting to talk to you guys about it for forever. The SNAP stuff. Trust me, we will talk about that. But mainly we need to get back into this conversation. All right. FBI is searching the home of Melodee Buzzard's home. Okay. Actually, Ashley Buzzard's home because Melodee ain't there. Okay. Melodee's mother, Ashley. So FBI officials and Santa Barbara County investigators searched the home of a missing 9-year-old girl. Melodee Buzzard was last seen with her mother, Ashley Buzzard, as recently as October 7th, according to the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Department. The search began on October 14th when a school advisor reported that Melodee had been absent for a long time. Federal and local investigators this evening, served the search warrants at the home on Mars Avenue near Constellation Road in Lompoc. They also looked through a storage locker and the rental car in which Melodee was last seen. So detectives also believe Buzzard and her daughter left Santa Barbara County in a white Chevrolet Malibu rental, driving out as far as the state of Nebraska. While searching the Buzzard residence and other places, Melodee's mother, Ashley, was escorted to an alternate location that would not interfere with their ability to conduct a thorough search. This is what the sheriff department said. So, in cases like this, every detail matters, and it is invaluable to have additional resources and specialized expertise. This is what a lieutenant from the sheriff's department said in a statement. Continuing, he says, collaboration with our federal partners allows us to ensure we're using every available tool to help bring resolution to this case. Investigators have said Ashley Buzzard, the mother, was uncooperative in this investigation, which clearly is a huge red flag. Red flag city. I mean, wouldn't you agree? Pretty insane stuff. Okay. So right now, or, I don't know if it's still ongoing right now, but when it was reported, home was being searched. I'm sure they're not done yet. I'm sure they're doing everything they can. But I want to tell you something, though. I don't think they're going to find much inside the home. They might be able to grab something from her phone, from her computer. Sure. Laptops, phones, iPads, etc. But outside of that, I don't think they're going to find much smoking gun evidence inside the home unless, and only unless, Ashley Buzzard is a sloppy criminal. And I'm already saying that she's a criminal because what she did right now is criminal. Her child is not with her. There are laws that are broken there. This kid has not gone to school since the 7th, around the 7th of October. This kid should be in school. So laws are already being broken. You see what I'm saying, right? So again, I'm still surprised that it took them this long, but at the same time, hey, at least they're doing something now, right? Now, let us continue on. We have got to take a look at this. And this is, of course, just a trip down, taking a step backwards, going to some more information about her disappearance and all that. And the other thing is, too, is that they saw her as far back as October 7th Melodee allegedly rocking a dark wig through surveillance footage. Okay. And don't worry, we're going to be going back to present here in just a minute, but I do want to give you guys a little bit more updates on what we know so far. Okay. So please do me a favor. Yes, Kim, what Kim said, what she said. Please hit that like button down below. Please and thank you. That would be greatly appreciated. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Don't forget to subscribe as well. All right. Let me just grab this here really quick. Breezy Bree, thank you so much. OMG. Her mother took them to KS. Yeah. I mean, that's what they're saying. Kansas to Kansas. But I mean, you know, they have the info, right? So she was driving around for a minute. Some serious driving. Okay. But let's look into this. Let's get some more information. And like I said, I've been talking about this. I've been covering this in my shorts. That sounds weird. Like, I've been talking about this in my shorts. No, in my short videos. Okay. So YouTube shorts, definitely, you guys have got to make sure you are, if you want to stay savvy, okay? If you want to stay savvy and know exactly what's going on, there's a lot of cases I'm talking about in these YouTube shorts that I'm not doing full length videos and doing all these lives on. I've been meaning to cover this, but I've been waiting for something to happen, and now something happened. You see what I'm saying? So now we're talking about it because this is breaking news and this is a big moment. This woman is about to get arrested. I have a feeling, okay? Very soon. At least I hope so. And I hope I'm not wrong. But even so, when we look at the Emmanuel Hotto situation, they searched that home top and bottom, backwards and forwards, went back there a bunch of times, and they did not arrest that couple for a good long ass time. Jake the Fake and Rebecca were out there living, breathing in this freedom air all the live long day without not one of them getting arrested during that time. So, you know, it might be a little bit of time, but I think it's coming soon. All right? It's coming soon. So, more than 2 weeks after the search began for missing 9-year-old Melodee Buzzard in California, investigators are sharing new details about the case and providing a new timeline of the girl's disappearance, because before they didn't know really a whole lot about her missing. They just knew that she was missing and that her mama was not willing to participate or cooperate with police. Okay? And that's messed up. Okay? On Friday, October 24th, so last week, the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office released surveillance camera photos of Melodee that were captured at the California car rental business on October 7th. So just 1 week before she was reported missing. So again, this is right before they went on the road trip, y'all. October 7th was the last moment that they saw her alive. That's it. I think that's very interesting. Now, I'm already seeing, and this is funny, because when I did the YouTube shorts, some people were saying the same thing, D, so it's not really unpopular opinion. A lot of people are going, I don't know if that's really her or not. It doesn't really look like her, but it, to me, looks like her as if she grew up 5 years. Because this, you know what I mean? This is like this is 4 or 5 year old photo of her 4 or 5 years old. And then she's 9. I think that looks like her. I really do. I believe that is to be her, but there's a possibility it might not be her. But here's the other thing too, though. Why would she be rocking a wig like her mama does? Think about that for a second, though. Mama's known to be rocking wigs. I don't know if it's because she just likes to rock wigs or if she's, if she's dealing with some mental health issues, but she got a full head of, I'm sure, luxurious wavy hair. but she's still rocking these wigs. Like daughter, like mother? Could it be? She's wearing a wig. That is definitely not her hair. At 9 years old, I doubt it. I highly, highly doubt that is her hair. So you do the reverse math. It's kind of like, that's got to be her. How often is somebody walking to that specific car rental place around that specific time, a girl of her age, her race, skin tone, etc., wearing a wig, just like her own mama wears a wig? Think about that for a second. And here's the other thing too. Just to think about. You know for a fact that this young girl, this baby girl, is believing everything that her mama is saying to her. So what if her mom, going through a mental health issue, psychotic break, whatever it may be, or just has always just had an altered state of reality, says, put on the wig. And she could lie to her. She could just say whatever she wants. We're just going to play dress up. We're going to have some fun. You and me on an adventure. Yeah? Right? She rocks the wig thinking that they're having some fun because she trusts her mama. She thinks that they're having fun, or she wants to be just like her mom. Remember, she's 9. She's a kid. Innocent. So think about that too. Okay? Think about that too. There's a possibility that she just wanted to be just like her mom. I mean, this is what kids do, right? They look up to their parents. We are to lead. We are to inspire them, all that stuff. Why would she be wearing and rocking a wig? I'm just saying, it's just too on the nose for it not to be her. I know some of y'all thinking that it may not be her, and it may not be her. Maybe it's another kid, completely different kid that's wearing a wig too. I just think it's a little bit odd that the same car rental joint has another 9-year-old showing up that looks remotely closely like her when she was, 4 or 5 years old in this photo? Wearing a wig, just like her mama wears wigs. I'm just saying, y'all, this is her. Sorry, not sorry. But let's move on. Melodee can be seen wearing a gray hooded sweatshirt with the hood pulled up and what appears to be a wig that is darker and straighter than her natural hair, according to a statement from the sheriff's office. Investigators also noted the wig may have been used to alter her appearance. Detectives also note that Melodee's mother, 35-year-old Ashley Buzzard, is known to wear wigs. You just do that math very quickly. It's like, duh, that's her. Sorry, it's just like, that's her. And it does make you wonder, what would make her go, like what would make Melodee wear the wig? Either she wanted to be like her mama, or her mama said, I need you to wear this because they're out to get us. And I don't need everybody knowing where we are. And she's 9 and young and naive. She might believe that. That's possible. Or they're playing a game. Or the mother turned it into a game. You see what I'm saying? We're doing dress up. We're having fun. Right? But anyway, moving on. Ashley rented a white Chevrolet Malibu, like we talked about, with the license plate 9MNG 101, according to the Los Angeles Times. The mother and daughter then left the car rental business, embarking on a 3-day road trip to the Nebraska area. According to the sheriff's office, the investigation into her disappearance first began on October 14th, when a local school reported that the child reported the child's extended absence. Deputies went to Ashley's home in Lompoc, a city about 50 miles north of Santa Barbara, and discovered that Melodee was not at home. When they returned later on to speak with Ashley, investigators say, what the hell? Investigators were provided, quote unquote, no verifiable explanation for her whereabouts per the statement. Investigators have now confirmed that Ashley returned to her house in California on October 10th after returning from Nebraska through Kansas. But Melodee was not in the car. So they must have went back to like totem poles or not totem poles. I'm sorry. Pay tolls, etc. Going all the way back. She returned home through Kansas, y'all. Through Kansas, y'all. What in the hell were they doing? What in the hell was going on here? Detectives are now focused on determining where Melodee was during those 3 days and where she may be now. Our detectives are following every lead in this case. We continue to seek information from the public that could help find us Melodee. We remain determined to bring her home safely. So again, October 7th, verified sighting of Melodee and Ashley. They say verified. So this is her. According to police, they say these photos are for sure her. So they had a road trip to Nebraska where Ashley returned to Lompoc, traveling through Kansas. Through Kansas, y'all. What was she doing all the way the F out in Kansas? What was this drive for? Again, it just makes you wonder, like, what was that conversation like? Road trip, you know what I mean? Like, come on, Melodee, we're going to go on a road trip. Let's go and do it. What was it for? See, I'm hoping that through text messages, emails, whatever they can find on computers and laptops and phones, they can find maybe a correspondence that maybe she was having with somebody. Maybe Ashley was just disgusting and dumb enough to type in something like how to get rid of a kid or something of that sort. You know, it screams, what's his name? I'm forgetting his name. Oh, man. Walsh. Do you remember? I forgot his first name. Brian Walsh. Remember Brian Walsh? That dummy. Remember him? Googling, like, how to dismember? How long does it take for a body to decompose? You know what I mean? Or a Carly Russell type situation. You know, how long does it take for someone to not be missing anymore, or for somebody to not care about them missing anymore? That kind of thing. All I'm saying is it is very interesting. Just me saying I believe she sold her. Dennis says, Denise, I'm sorry, says, I believe she is with a family member. If she was with a family member, she would have already popped up by now. Unless she's with a family member that's also lost their marbles too. And it's just as sinister. But it doesn't make any sense. If she had been sold, oh, man, that's crazy. So on October 14th, check the welfare request by Lompoc Unified School District prompts onset of a missing person investigation. Ashley was contacted at the residence and could not provide reasonable explanation of Melodee's whereabouts. And then she became uncooperative the very next day. So on the very next day, October 15th, detectives serve search warrant at residence Melodee is not located. And then on top of that, to add more sinister sprinkles on top of this really demented Sunday, Ashley remains uncooperative. Then 3 days later, FBI gets involved. Do you want to know why FBI got involved? Because she went across state lines, multiple state lines, y'all, multiple. She didn't just go through just Nebraska and Kansas. She went through multiple. She's being seen. I guess her destination was Nebraska, and then she banged a Yui and went back home. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. It still doesn't. But something ain't right here, y'all. Something tain't right here at all. October 24th. 6 whole days later. Melodee remains an at-risk missing person. Ashley remains uncooperative with 5-0. Let's be real. If she had been missing, was reported missing on the 14th, and now today is the 30th. Tomorrow is Boo Day. You know what I mean? Halloween. Come on now. You really think that Ashley took her out there and just forgot her wherever she dropped her off at? I guarantee you no. I'll tell you that for free. I'll tell you that for free. So something is up here. So this update comes after investigators previously said the at-risk girl hadn't been seen in a year. Yo! Little girl has not been seen in a year, according to the sheriff's office. Like I said, we already talked about these things in my YouTube shorts, son. But at the same time, we'll take a trip down memory lane. Hadn't been seen in a year. According to the sheriff's office, Melodee was homeschooled and had not checked in since October of 2024. What? That's weird. Melodee was reported missing by the Lompoc Unified School District when she failed to pick up assignments following her August enrollment in an independent learning program at the school. So she was getting homeschooled. But here's the other thing, too. Family members hadn't seen her in years, plural. She hadn't been seen in years by extended family members. Years, y'all. Some of these people, we're going to see an interview with Ashley Banfield interviewing if I'm correct, the grandmother, I think. And she's like, yeah, I think that could be her. When they're talking about the surveillance photos of the newly put out photos that we just saw, that we are all debating on whether it is her or not, which I think it is her. But even her extended family's like, I think that's her, but I haven't seen her in years. This woman, Ashley Buzzard, has been holding up her own child from the rest of the world. Even the people that love her the most, family. That's insane. So we're going to go right to that. Why not? We got some things to look at. Okay. Oh, it's her aunt. My bad. Her aunt. First, we're going to look at this thing first.
Images have shaken investigators. A missing 9-year-old girl from California, possibly disguised. Take a look. This is an image that authorities released of Melodee Buzzard before. But tonight, there are new images of the same girl appearing to wear a wig. The latest clue in this case, raising chilling questions about what may have happened to Melodee, who vanished during a road trip with her mother, who has returned without any sign of her child. News Nation's Jorge Ventura is live from Los Angeles tonight with the exclusive new details. Jorge, what are we learning about this?
Hey, Natasha. Well, this story really is sending shockwaves through the communities here in Southern California. We are now learning of these newly released images from Santa Barbara Sheriff's Office, giving investigators this new look into Melodee Buzzard, even right before she disappeared. And the images were taken from a security camera at a rental car business. And what's striking is that in that image, the child looks very similar to Melodee. But as you can see there, the child has straight black hair under a gray hoodie. Hair investigators now believe it is a wig. Now, officials say that Melodee was with her mother, Ashley, when she rented a white Chevy Malibu on October 9th of this year here in California. That car was later tracked through Nebraska and Kansas before Ashley returned home, but without her daughter. Days later, Melodee was reported missing on October 14th of this year after a school administrator reported Melodee's prolonged absence. Deputies went to the family's home, but Melodee wasn't there, and her mother, Ashley Buzzard, gave no clear explanation on where her daughter was. Her mother hasn't cooperated with investigators, and still no arrests have been made. Detectives say that the last verified contact with Melodee was in August of this year, and until these newly released images, the most recent photo of her was taken 2 years earlier. Now Melodee's aunt, Elizabeth Meza, spoke exclusively on Banfield and told us exactly what she noticed in that photo.
But that nose definitely, reminds me of her dad's. So yeah, it does look like her.
Now, Meza says that she hasn't seen her niece in more than 4 years, not since Melodee's father died in a motorcycle accident. She says that tragedy marked the moment where Ashley began pulling away from the rest of the family. She described to us the last time she saw Ashley and Melodee and what she notices that day.
But you can definitely tell at that time Ashley was unwell. She had her hair very short, like a buzz cut, and she was at that time wearing a hood, and she didn't stay for very long. She told my mother-in-law, I can't do this, and she took Melodee, and that was the last time we seen her.
Now, this also reminds me of another case that happened out in North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina, where there was a guy by the name of Wellington Dickens. He went and he took the lives of 4 kids, his 4 children, stuffed them in the trunk of his car. And then he ends up calling 911 and ratting out on himself. Okay. He said that God made him do it. That's what he's claiming. But also at the same time, he was a war veteran. He also Iraq, if I'm correct. And then also he lost his father and his wife. She lost her life due to like pregnancy complications. At least that's what they said. He was already having mental health issues. And back to back, he lost his dad and his wife within like a year or two from each other. And then he lost his mind. And that kind of is what I'm thinking, what I'm seeing here too. Now, I'm not saying it's exactly like it. I'm not saying the outcome is going to be the same. But it is interesting when you hear that father lost his life. There was some sort of accident. He lost his life. And suddenly she became a recluse. And she only wanted to just be with her daughter at home. And that's the same thing that happened with Wellington Dickens. And this, yes, closer to you, is a most recent case that just came out. Like I said, I'm covering a lot of things and I'm covering a lot of reports. I'm giving you guys a lot of reports and stories on my Facebook. So I highly recommend you guys go over and follow my Facebook page. It's called The Pascal Show over there as well. And I give you guys all the information out there too. Sometimes I have time to be able to do, a multitude of videos. Sometimes I don't, you know what I mean? That one was one I was going to cover, but I just haven't had time. But I did cover it on my Facebook page. And yes, It is a very sad situation, but it does make me think that something happened, right? Something happened in her mind. And now it's like, I got to be right here, me and my daughter. I don't want to deal with anybody else. Clearly, there's some sort of mental health issue here, for sure. And that's the same thing that happened with Wellington Dickens. He lost his father, then his wife, and then he literally became a recluse. The kids were being homeschooled as well. He didn't want to have anything to do with the outside world. And then he took the lives of 4 kids, 4 of his kids, stuffed them in the trunk of his car. And guess what is even more disturbing about this? He did it several months ago. And he just called the police just the other day, ratting himself out on what he did months ago. And yes, he didn't take the life of all his children. Only one child remains, one survivor. And that 3-year-old child was not touched, was not messed with. It's the only one that survived. Outside of that, all the other kids, including his stepchild, 18 years old, unalived. All because of mental health and grief. So now you see something like this, and I know that they're not the same thing, but if you really think about that mental health issue, the grief, the depression, all those things, you smash all that into one, and somebody already has mental health issues on top of that, you add all that together, is a recipe for disaster. Literally, it's like, putting the top onto a percolating, boiling pot of hot water. Eventually, that thing's going to blow. And I think that's what happened here. Now, what happened to this girl? I know some of y'all are thinking maybe she was sold. Maybe she was unalived. Maybe she was just left somewhere. Right? I don't know. I got questions here too. Got a lot of them.
Now, the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office says that detectives are still chasing leads across state lines. And while the FBI remains involved, the department is urging anyone with information to call 805-681-4150 and to not conduct independent searches that could interfere with law enforcement investigation. Melodee Buzzard is just 9 years old, 4'6", about 60 pounds. Authorities say she is still remaining missing. And right now still looking for any active leads on this active investigation. Natasha.
All right, Jorge Ventura tracking this case from Los Angeles tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for watching.
Okay, so let's get on to the next thing. And of course, because, there's more. There's more that we need to talk about, of course. So hold on. Yeah, let's get to the
9-year-old was spotted on a road
Shout out to
trip
Ashley
with her
Banfield.
mother, Ashley Buzzard, on October 7th. A road trip that took them to Nebraska and back again in 3 days. The trouble is, Ashley returned home to Santa Barbara County on October 10th without little Melodee. So police opened a missing child investigation, but they're not getting any help from Ashley. And now they're releasing a new photo of little Melodee from a California car rental office on the day the road trip began, again, October 7th. Police think that little Melodee might be wearing a wig in this photo, possibly to conceal her identity. Investigators say Ashley is, and I quote, known to wear wigs. They also say Ashley has not been cooperative in this search, nor provided any real explanation as to where her daughter might be since returning home without her. Relatives say the same thing. Melanie's dad is deceased, and his family says they haven't seen Melodee in years. Elizabeth Meza is Melodee's aunt on her father's side, and she joins me now. Elizabeth, thank you so much for being on with me. Let's just start with the breaking news, that picture that the police have released of what they say is Melodee at a car rental agency. Does that picture look to you like your niece?
I mean, we haven't seen her in 4.5 years, so what we know her as, I mean, she was just a little 4-year-old girl when we known her. But that nose definitely, reminds me of her dad's. So yeah, it does look like her.
And your late husband's brother was Melodee's dad, and he died in a motorcycle accident when she was just a baby. So was that when Ashley cut off the rest of the family and wouldn't allow anyone to see her?
That was when it started. Her mental health declined even more, and she just slowly cut everybody off even more. We did have a little bit of contact. I know my husband got in contact with her at one time and said, if you don't let the family see her, at least let my mom see her. And we saw her one time, I believe it was after her birthday, after Easter. My mother-in-law had presents for her, and she did come over with her. But you can definitely tell at that time Ashley was unwell. She had her hair very short, like a buzz cut, and she was at that time wearing a hood.
So she was doing the Britney Spears thing. So that's basically what it is. She's doing the Britney Spears thing. And I'm not trying to be funny, but when Britney Spears did her thing, okay, y'all remember that. I mean, that was a big moment where she just buzzed all her hair off. And that was a huge sign that something was not right and something was not good with Britney. But I guess the question is, free Britney still or no?
And she didn't stay for very long. She told my mother-in-law, I can't do this. And she took Melodee, and that was the last time we seen her.
Well, this is what's so frustrating is that, with reports like this and the fact that no one's been able to see this girl, where has CPS been in all of this? Like, I want to say it's a massive failure. If it's been months since she picked up her assignments from school, if the family has said there was rotting food in the fridge that she might have been trying to feed this girl, if she refuses to answer the police, if she refuses to talk to family, what are the CPS officials saying to you about this?
They really didn't have much to say. They contacted me and they asked if I knew her whereabouts. And I said, what do you mean? We were told that she was adopted out. Is she okay? And they said, we can't tell you that. It's an active investigation. We're just calling to see if they've gotten in contact with you. And I said, no, I have not seen or heard from them. And I said, again, is my niece okay? And is she missing? And they said, we can't give you that information, but if they get in contact with you, please let us know. And no longer than maybe 15 minutes after I hung up with them, I opened Facebook and there was a missing person post.
Oh, man. So listen, my first question to you in this interview was, does that look like little Melodee? Did anyone from the police call you to ask that same question? Have they kept you in the loop at all or even asked you to be a part of this investigation?
There is a detective with the sheriff's department that called, and because I had left a message and my mother-in-law had left a message, and he called and he said there was a lot of leads, and sorry for not getting back to us right away, but they were working over the weekend, working on leads, and that was on Wednesday.
Hold on, I'm rolling that back. Hold up. I'm rolling that back.
I really didn't have much to say. They contacted me and they asked if I knew her whereabouts. And I said, what do you mean? We were told that she was adopted out. Is she okay? And they said, we can't tell you that. It's an active investigation.
What does that mean exactly? Adopted out? What does that mean exactly? Does anybody know what that means? I mean, I must be an idiot, but That doesn't make any sense. Hold on. I'm rolling that even further back. Hold on. Like, adopted out. The hell does that mean? But then it's like, okay, maybe this is the reason why people have that theory that she was sold. That it wasn't on paper adoption, that she was just somebody paid to adopt her. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, Lady for Justice. Exactly. Like black market type stuff, right? That's insane if that's the case. But let me roll that back a little bit more. Okay? Hold on. Let me just roll that back a little bit more. But that is a weird piece of information. Yeah, she was adopted out. The hell does that mean? What in the does that mean? Huh?
Seeing her.
Well, this is what's so frustrating is that, with reports like this and the fact that no one's been able to see this girl, where has CPS been in all of this? Like, I want to say it's a massive failure. If it's been months since she picked up her assignments from school, if the family has said there was rotting food in the fridge that she might have been trying to feed this girl, if she refuses to answer the police, if she refuses to talk to family, what are the CPS officials saying to you about this?
They really didn't have much to say. They contacted me and they asked if I knew her whereabouts. And I said, what do you mean? We were told that she was adopted out. Is she okay? And they said, we can't tell you that. It's an active investigation. We're just calling to see if they've gotten in contact with you. And I said, no, I have not seen or heard from them. And I said, again, is my niece okay? And is she missing? And they said, we can't give you that information, but if they get in contact with you, please let us know. And no longer than maybe 15 minutes after I hung up with him, I opened Facebook and there was a missing person post.
Hold on. Little Shirley just said, so when they say opted out, it means someone outside the family has adopted her. So if that is the case, there would be no need to be out here asking where could Melodee be, right? And wouldn't the rest of the world, like her school, the rest of her world, things that revolve around her world, like, if she was part of a soccer team or ballet classes or gymnastics or school, let's not forget school, wouldn't school know that she was about to be adopted? School would not need to go and call up and be like, hey, Miss Buzzard. Yeah, we haven't seen your daughter. Is she okay? We're doing a wellness check right now. We're doing it right now. Wouldn't she be like, yo, she was adopted out. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to tell you. She was adopted. Yeah, she's now in Kansas, adopted. Here's the other thing too. Let me just, another thing. Okay, I'm going to address the other elephant in the room. Okay, if she was adopted and police actually go, bing bong, hi, how you doing, ma'am? Miss Buzzard? Yeah, we just want to ask you some questions about your daughter, 9-year-old Melodee Buzzard. We want to know exactly where she is right now because we've been looking for her and there's a lot of concern about her just missing. That would be the perfect time to turn to the police and say, oh, I am so sorry. Yeah, she was adopted. Yeah, I couldn't handle it anymore. Yeah. Here's the paperwork though. You need the paperwork? Here it is. That's it. But none of that happened. She refused to work things out with police. She has not been helpful with police. If this was a legal adoption, police would not be raiding her home right now. The news would not be talking about this right now. None of that. If this was a legal adoption, but clearly it is not. Sounds to me like this could very well be a human trap. If you get what I'm saying, I can't say the whole word. A human teeing situation. You see what I'm saying? There's plenty of things that even if she was so out her mind mentally that she still went through the proper red tape, getting the contracts and all those things signed to hand over her child into the custody of another family. She would have that paperwork. Police would not be raiding her home. Police would not be asking her any questions. We would not be asking, where is Melodee? We wouldn't be doing any of that right now. This story would not exist. Whoa. You see what I'm saying? So again, something sinister happened, or she was sold. And that's still sinister, but I'm saying something nefarious, like she lost her life, or she literally was sold. But here's the other thing too. Her family is saying she was adopted out. That's weird too. So it sounds like there was premeditation to this whole thing too. Because she told the family something, unless that's just one bold-faced lie. Okay, so hear me out. The reason why I say that this could be a very big, bold-faced lie, because it could mean two different things. It could mean, one, she really did sell her child, which is insane. And in her mind, or whatever, it doesn't matter. In her mind, whether it's mentally well or not mentally well, no matter what, she gave that child away. That could very well be true. What she told the family, she literally did get that child, in her mind, adopted out. Or that's just the story that she's telling her family, and something really bad happened to her. And I'm not talking about her just being sold, which is even more, it's still disturbing, but I'm saying that she unalived her and put her out there somewhere in these wilderness streets. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, I sold her, but in her mind, no, I adopted her. She's adopted. She's with a good family. She's with a good family, whatever that might be, right? But no matter what, this whole thing, what she's doing is illegal. She didn't go through the proper channels to get the child adopted, because this would all be on record and no one would be talking about this story. We wouldn't be asking questions. So either she sold her and she told her family that she was adopted, that she was adopted out, or she did something bad to her and she's telling this BS story, saying that telling her family that she was adopted out. But no matter what, there is premeditation here. It's not like she went and put her in the car, and while they were in the middle of their road trip, she decides, oh, I'm going to sell her, or, oh, I'm about to do something bad to her. No. That was part of the process. That was part of the thought. Does she not have a car? Maybe she doesn't have a car in real life. I don't know. Okay? But she rented a car to go do this road trip rather than driving her own vehicle, which is weird. If she does have a vehicle, that is. So again, this is something that's very weird. Okay? Oh, okay. The term of not on the books adoption is called rehoming. This is what Rachel Mills said. Thank you so much. Interesting. I'm gonna look that up. So the reason for the wigs, exactly. There you go. See what I'm saying? It wouldn't make no sense for her to just be rocking wigs just for ish and giggles. Unless, okay, this is gonna sound weird, but unless Melodee is in on it, that she's like, fine. Oh, you're telling me I'm going to be in a better home? Fine, I'll do it. Or she got fooled, tricked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok into wearing a wig for fun. You know what I mean? Like, we're just two girls and we're just going to totally wig out this weekend. And so they're wearing wigs. You see what I'm saying? Either she got tricked into this, or she didn't even know that she was getting lured into a trap, whether that's deadly or if that's her being sold. Regardless, she's being put in the hands of somebody she doesn't even know, I'm sure. I would assume, right? So this is nuts, yo. This is nuts.
Oh, man. So listen, my first question to you in this interview was, does that look like little Melodee? Did anyone from the police call you to ask that same question? Have they kept you in the loop at all, or even asked you to be a part of this investigation?
There is a detective with the sheriff's department that called, and because I had left a message and my mother-in-law had left a message, and he called and he said there was a lot of leads, and sorry for not getting back to us right away, but they were working over the weekend, working on leads, and that was on Wednesday. And he just apologized, but he did say they were working on it, and then that's when the FBI came in. And they hadn't had this picture yet, and I asked him if we could review the video, and he said unfortunately they couldn't show that to us at the time, but then they released it today.
Thank you for watching.
We got more. This is just nuts. And the question is, like, how did this happen, right? You know what I mean? How did this happen, and why is this happening in the way that how did it successfully happen? You see what I'm saying? How does something like this successfully happen? That's the one thing that doesn't make any sense to me. And what's even more insane is that family members were not in contact with either Ashley or Melodee at all for years. So there's no way for Melodee to reach out to anyone to be like, mom is acting weird, or you know what I mean? And all they're doing, it's just them. It's just the two of them. If you really think about it, the girl's getting homeschooled, all that stuff. It's just the two of them. A partnership. And that's it. You got a 9-year-old kid that's growing up and listening to every single thing that the mother is saying to her and believing that to be scripture. Think about that too. Think about that. That mom could say anything, and that kid was going to believe her. Why? Because she's been raising that little girl since she was a baby. She's even getting educated. I'm assuming, I don't know how the education homeschooling thing works, but I'm assuming she's even getting educated by her own mom too. You got to remember, she is consuming all things her mom. You know how it is. Our parents could do no wrong when we were kids, for the most part, unless, we grew up in, you grew up in very, violent homes. But for the most part, if you had good parents that cared for you and all that, you listened to them because you looked up to them. You know what I mean? Yeah, Lily. It is a Rudy Farias story. It's almost like that too, which also I've always been wondering about. Recently, I was thinking about that too, if there was any updates about that guy, which is what he alleged and what he went through is absolutely insane. But if you really think about it, this little girl is going to believe everything that her mother says. Because that's what kids do. It's innocent. It's totally innocent, that information, right? So let me share this with you guys too. So this is from I Am Legacy. Shout out to I Am Legacy. They do some really great work on X, but I want to share this with you guys. And this is all about the additional warrants, the search warrants that happened today. So again, additional warrants, search warrants served. Mother removed from home in ongoing search for Melodee Buzzard. Now, again, I got to ask you guys, do you think that No, she has not been arrested. Let me just make that abundantly clear. She has not. If she was arrested, the title would say breaking, that piece of ish mama been arrested, but she hasn't been arrested at all, y'all. That's what I mean by, like, yes, justice is happening. Justice is coming. It's a snail crawl, but it's going to happen. And it's just like what happened to Emmanuel Haro. It's going to take a minute, but it's coming. It's coming. But she has not been arrested. Let me repeat that again. Trust me, the thumbnail would say, Mama arrested, okay? It would say that instantly. That's bigger than a search warrant, baby, okay? Justice is very slow. It is at a snail crawl, okay? And it's annoying, it's frustrating, but when it does get served, woo, it feels good, doesn't it? So hopefully this is going to be happening very soon. But she is still out here breathing in this freedom air, okay? Kicking rocks and enjoying whatever she's enjoying. And I hope she enjoys it and realizes that it'll be the last time she enjoys anything free out here in the realm of freedom, okay? But moving on. Authorities have executed additional search warrants in the case of missing Melodee Buzzard as investigators continued their extensive search efforts. So the mom, Ashley Buzzard, has been removed from the family's home while law enforcement conducts thorough investigations. Now, she was reported, like we already know, on October 14th after officials at her Lompoc school alerted authorities to her prolonged absence. According to the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office, Ashley Buzzard has been uncooperative throughout the investigation into her daughter's disappearance. On Thursday, sheriff's detectives and FBI served new search warrants at the family's residence on the 500 block of Mars Avenue. Investigators also searched a storage locker and a rental car Ashley had used during a trip with her daughter. Now, what's very interesting about this is that apparently about a week ago, I remember some sort of report where there was a sighting of Ashley out there trying to rent another car. I don't know why she wasn't successful in renting the car, but apparently she was trying to rent a car. What for, we don't know. My assumption is maybe to go drive back out there. Maybe to go back out there, wherever she dropped her off, and maybe bring her back home, or to move her somewhere else further away. You see, strange, but she did try to go out there. She really did try to go back out there, my assumption. Authorities confirmed that Ashley was escorted from the home to an undisclosed location to allow investigators unrestricted access to the property. Officials noted that the search could take an extended period of time as teams examined multiple locations for potential evidence. A portion of Mars Avenue was taped off Thursday as local and federal officers worked on the scene. So they have been focusing on a critical 3-day window between October 7th and October 10th, when Ashley reportedly rented a car and traveled with Melodee to Nebraska, making a stop in Kansas on the return trip. Why did she go to Kansas? That's what I want to know. When Ashley came back to California, authorities say Melodee was no longer with her. And then they say, we appreciate FBI's assistance in today's searches and cases like this. Every detail matters. Collaboration with our federal partners ensures We're using every available resource to bring resolution to this case. So again, this is her right here. And I thought she was like maybe a little bit heavier. And obviously she's lost some weight. She's lost some considerable weight in a very short amount of time, if you ask me. Unless she's on that Ozempic, which is possible. But at the same time, from my understanding, she used to be a little bit thicker. But yeah. Here they are, doing their thing, doing their research, doing their search, doing their investigation. Yeah, I agree, Detroit 313. You better keep that heat on Ashley. Real talk. Yeah, it's definitely stress. I was joking about the Ozempic, but it's definitely stress. It's got to be stress. Her kid's not home. You got the heat, as Detroit said, breathing down her neck. You can drive from California to Kansas City in 24 hours. Yeah, you can. That's one hell of a drive. That's a lot of Red Bulls and Monsters. I'll tell you what. So here it is. Detectives serve additional search warrants in ongoing search for Melodee Buzzard. And this is all that I just read. Basically the same thing that I just read a second ago. Okay. So here's another thing that is very interesting, very messed up. So Melodee Buzzard, of course, is still missing. Mama hasn't been arrested yet. Apparently, there were rumors saying that she had like 72 hours to produce Melodee or she was going to face charges. But if that was true, that was last week when they talked about that. But here's what's interesting. They're saying that they have no evidence that Ashley Buzzard committed any crime at this time, and notes that California law dictates that it is not a crime to refuse to assist a police officer. So, of course, they're still asking people to put up flyers and all that. But then what's interesting is that there is footage, allegedly, of Melodee's mother, Ashley Buzzard, allegedly taking down signs for Melodee. Take a look at this. That's nuts. If this is really her, nah, she's just borrowing them. Nah, nah, Heather. Nah. She just straight up taking down signs, son. That's all. She's just straight up taking down signs. Okay? This is truly jacked up. I'm going to let that cook as I get, yeah, Casper. Nah, she ain't borrowing nothing. Nah, she just taking them down. She's just straight up taking them down. It's kind of like when the Laundry family, remember the copious amounts of flowers and signs that people were putting up on their property. Remember those moments when they'd go up there and just grab a bunch and just throw them out? Isn't that crazy? That's crazy too. This right here is knuckin' futs. Tell me you're guilty without telling me you guilty, right? Hold on, let me get these super chats. I agree 100%. Thank you so much, Messy Sweets. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the super chat. Rianne, thank you so much for the super chat as well. It's definitely illegal if she's not talking. Don't think it's HT, in my opinion. Illegal adopts happen regularly, unfortunately. Well, I don't know. I think, I'm still leaning on the side of something bad happened here, not her being sold. Let's just say that. I think something bad happened here. Why would she be going out of her way to take down signs and do all this stuff? Why would she not be cooperative with police officers? And here's the thing. You can miss me with the nonsense of like, oh, they say, and this is law enforcement saying this too, that it's not illegal for her not to participate or assist police in their investigation. If she's uncooperative, it doesn't mean it's an admission of guilt, yet it does mean an admission of guilt. But, it's not illegal. I don't care. Instantly, if your own child is missing, aren't you going to do everything you can, everything in your power to try to find them? You're going to stop at nothing. You will probably lose your job. You will probably lose your house, the shirt. You will give up everything to make sure you get your kid back in one piece alive, right? And you're going to do everything you can to be the most cooperative mother lover in the history of cooperative mother lovers for police. Not suddenly go, no, don't feel like working with you guys. No. I don't know where she is, but I'm not, I do, but I'm not going to tell you where she is. What? You know what I mean? You're going to be like, yeah, thank you so much for being here. I'm wondering where she is too. I am so concerned about her safety, right? Leading the fold towards searches for her and all that. If she literally did run away from you, right? You're going to do everything in your power to try to get that person back home as soon as possible, not tear down posters and signs of people who actually care. Look at her. She's tearing it apart. Now, obviously, this can be a sign of somebody who's not mentally well, but also this is the sign of somebody who's guilty and has mental health issues and doesn't give an F. This is bad, yo. Okay. Wanda, thank you so much. What makes me mad? The family knows she has been adopted out before and did anything. Yeah, that's crazy. It is kind of odd. Like that there was no pushback. We just heard that she was being adopted out. Huh? Like if any of my family members, just said, yeah, we're just adopting out the kids. I'd be like, what? Why? Why though? What? There'd be a huge reaction to this. Not like a fact like the sky is blue and water is wet. You know what I'm saying? Like I would have a huge reaction to that. The hell you do? What the hell? What? What are you talking about? But it was like nothing. Water's wet. Ice is cold. The sky is blue. The grass is green. That's it. It's crazy. No reaction whatsoever. Little Shirley, thank you so much for being a member. I appreciate it. She could have went through Vegas to Utah to Colorado to Nebraska. So why did she go through Kansas? Thank you. That's Exactly my point. It doesn't make any sense unless she took her there specifically for something. They went to Nebraska, and on their way back, she went through Kansas. Why? Why? That makes no sense unless she dropped her off in Kansas somewhere. That's the only thing I can think of that makes sense. That's so crazy, guys. Who does that? Who does that? Who does that? Like, real talk, who does that? But here it is. Let me make this abundantly clear. No one has been arrested yet. Okay? A search warrants have been issued, but no one's been arrested yet. Okay? Now, real quick before we go into this, because I'm going to play a little bit of this Court TV video and all that. I just wanted to say real quick, I do have a GoFundMe going right now. Okay, just really quick. Okay, I have a GoFundMe going right now. I have a rig that I'm very interested in bringing and using for the show. All right, it's a live stream rig. It's really amazing. News uses this kind of rig. Legacy media uses this type of rig. Big time streamers use this type of rig. I mean, you'll see it everywhere. A lot of people are able to stream anywhere, stream and capture protests and things that are boots on the ground, moments that are happening all throughout the world, right? And they're able to go live anywhere, anytime, without having to worry about getting a strong signal from like satellites and the internet and all that stuff, right? Now, this GoFundMe, okay, I hate to ask it and bring it up, but I'm going to keep bringing it up until we get to, I don't know. I'd love to get halfway, you know what I mean, to my goal. The rig is really amazing. It's a strong, professional rig. I'll be able to do a whole lot with this, and I could really use the help raising the money. So that's why I'm coming to you guys and asking for the help. And I talked to you guys about it, and you guys all gave me the thumbs up, but like, yeah, throw it up, put it up, get the GoFundMe going, and we'll help you out. So I'm hoping that you guys can just find some time to take a look at it. And like I said, a little bit goes a long way. Okay, it doesn't have to be, I'm not asking you to drop $1,000, right? I'm just asking for you to contribute just a little bit. If everyone contributed, a few bucks each, everyone that's watching this show right now, for example, I'd be at my goal like that. You know what I mean? So if you don't mind, take a look at it. The link is pinned to the top of the chat, and it's in the description box down below. All I'm asking for you to do is take a look. If you think it's worth it to donate a little bit, that would mean the world to me. If not, that's okay too. I ain't mad at nobody. Okay, I get it. All right, I totally get it. It is hard out here for everybody. Okay, trust me, I do understand that. But if you can, that would be amazing. Okay, Hollis, thank you so much. I really do appreciate the support. Okay, so just go check that out. All right, if you can, that'd be amazing. If you can't, I understand too. All right, I ain't mad at nobody. All right, but I could really use the help because I really would love to use it for the holiday stuff that I have planned for this year. And I think it would be really great to do that. Right. So yeah, let's take a look at this. All right. We got more. All right. Like I said, sorry for the little commercial break. I know some people don't like that stuff, but I had to ask. Okay. And And I'm going to keep asking. So get used to it, until we get to that goal. And then we're going to use the hell out of it. And I can't wait. Okay. But let's see what Vinny Politan has to say about all this. And thank you guys. I appreciate you guys being so supportive and so amazing. And a lot of you guys have donated so beautifully, like so surprisingly, like you have no idea. It really means the world to me. Okay. I'm surprised I even got to even a quarter. Okay. Of the goal so far. We just need to keep pushing. Okay. And keep adding. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Okay, so let's take a listen to a little bit of this.
Night. And, through the years, I've noticed a disturbing common theme among mothers of missing children. Let me explain what I mean. Let's start with Lori Vallow Daybell. This is someone who was confronted about her children, and she lied about JJ and Tylee. Just didn't tell the truth about where they were. Made up stories, like literally out of thin air, involving her friends. And we get it. We get it. She lied because they were dead, murdered, and buried in her fifth husband's backyard. I get it why she lied. Then there's that woman from Central Florida, you know who I'm talking about, with the initials CA, had a daughter named Kaylee. Well, she lied all about Kaylee. Didn't tell the truth. Made up a story about Zanny the nanny. Confronted by her own parents, Kaylee's grandparents, and makes up a story, like invents a person who was watching Kaylee for 31 days. Complete lie. And she lied about other things too, but lied about where her missing child was.
That case, he talking about Casey Anthony. I am still shocked that woman is free. To this day, I'm still absolutely shook. Okay. Still absolutely shook. I'm just going to keep it a bean. Absolutely shook that this woman is free. And remember just like a few months ago, she tried to get she was trying to be like a life coach or some crap like that. I don't know. She's in the land of Delulu, in my personal opinion, but nonetheless, this woman was making up lies, lying through her teeth, and yet this woman is still free. Unbelievable.
Leilani Simon, you may or may not remember her from Georgia.
I forgot about Leilani. Oh my God, Quentin Simon. Oh, my Lord. May he rest in peace, too. Dear God. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Groovy Nikki. I mean, I don't think I want to get dating advice from Charlie Sheen, okay? Real talk, but yeah. Life coach. Now, let's not forget about Leilani. Leilani and her trashy ass.
South Georgia, lied about her son Quentin, who's like the cutest kid you've ever seen. Made up this story. In the end, it turns out she murdered him, threw him in the garbage, and they had to recover his remains from a landfill. Now, 2 out of those 3 paid for their lies. 1 did not pay for her lies. But that's the way our system works. You've got to prove the case beyond any and all reasonable doubt and convince all 12 jurors. And sometimes prosecutors can't do it. Let's talk now about little Melodee and her mom, Ashley. Little different here. I'm not getting a sense that she is lying about everything. I'm getting a sense that she's just not saying anything and she's not cooperating, which is an interesting tact when you have a missing child that you are solely responsible for. The child's nowhere to be found and you're not saying anything. Well, let's dive into this story. Here's what we have from the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office. Through their investigation, detectives have gathered evidence indicating that Melodee was with her mother, Ashley, as recently as October 7th of this year. Detectives have also determined that Ashley may have driven with Melodee in a white Chevy Malibu. This is important, okay, for folks who may be able to help in this case. License plate number 9MNG101 to locations out of their home county of Santa Barbara County in California to include as far as the state of Nebraska. So if you live anywhere between Nebraska and Santa Barbara County, you need to pay attention. You might be able to help this at this point. At this point in the investigation, Ashley Buzzard remains uncooperative and has not provided detectives with any information about Melodee's current location or condition. The primary goal of this investigation is to verify the location and welfare of Melodee Buzzard and to ensure that she is safe. The mom is saying nothing, which is absolutely bizarre. Well, let's get some more details and some more information. And joining us tonight in Santa Barbara County from our Scripps News Group, reporter Crystal Bermudez, who has been covering this story more in depth than anyone else. So, Crystal, I'm so glad that you're able to join us tonight. We appreciate your time. Let's start here because this is the first time we're doing the story for folks. How about some background about Melodee, her mom, Ashley, their living arrangements, and any information about Melodee's dad?
Yeah, Vinny. Well, just to start us off, I've been in contact with spokesperson Raquel Zick with the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Department. She did confirm with me that when they looked into the home, that home is under Ashley Buzzard and Melodee Buzzard. So they do live together. There's no indication of anyone else living there. However, the more I am piecing more information, I'm seeing that neighbors are noticing a common theme here, right? That the little girl was often seen home and sheltered and didn't really get the opportunity to play with other kids on the block. I'm not that far away right now. I'm about 5 minutes away from the Vandenberg Village home. But from what I'm hearing from spokesperson Raquel Zick, who has been, again, communicating with me about the whereabouts of Melodee, it seems like at this point, we were able to get confirmation because of that prolonged absence that the school district had brought attention to, right? That they hadn't seen Melodee for quite some time. So originally during this investigation, it had been a year long that we didn't know in that timeline of where Melodee's whereabouts were. Then that narrowed down to August of 2025. And now with our recent update, the one that you just read there, Vinny, they're now narrowing this down between October 7th through October 14th, which investigators tell me this is really helpful in, again, locating Melodee Buzzard and pleading the public to use the information that they're sharing. Have you seen this woman with a child in that white Chevy Malibu? Any time between that time frame of October 7th through October 14th. And again, when you think about how far Nebraska is from Vandenberg Village here in Santa Barbara County, that's about a 20-hour drive. So if anyone has information, spread those photos around to see if anyone has had the opportunity or chance to locate Melodee in that pathway between here and Nebraska. I'm actually parked right now outside of a gas station, and while I was driving around, there's photos everywhere, flyers that says, "Can you help locate Melodee Buzzard?" So the community here is really coming together and trying to spread that word around to help locate her.
And how about Melodee's dad? What's the story there with dad and with dad's family?
Yeah, Vinny. Well, when I first started looking into family members related to Melodee, I was first contacted with Elizabeth Meza. She's her aunt from her dad's side. She's married to her father's brother, who also passed away. But from what I'm being told, her father passed away when she was 6 months old in a motorcycle crash. So he wasn't really there to see seeing her grow up through most of her life, unfortunately, through that tragedy of a motorcycle accident. And
so October 7th is an important date that we believe she was seen. Do we know the circumstances surrounding that? Like who saw her, where they saw her, and what the context was? Have we gotten any more of those details?
Yeah, that's a great question. That was the first thought that came to mind for me as well, Vinny, is who saw her? Where was she seen on October 7th? From what I'm being told from Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Department spokesperson, Raquel Zick, she tells me that is information that they're not sharing right away. It is part of their investigation, but right now, that's all they were able to confirm with me was that she was last seen October 7th with her mother, Ashley Buzzard.
And do we know what law enforcement is doing to try to find her, and what the process and the procedure and how much manpower they're putting behind this?
Yeah, well, speaking of manpower, when I was here on Sunday, if you were able to check out one of those reports that I did, community members, neighbors all came out here demanding and pushing for answers from Ashley outside of her house. And neighbors were telling me they wanted to organize. They created a Facebook group called In Search of Melodee. You can see that those neighbors right there on your screen right now that gathered. They were.
Oh boy. This is giving me flashbacks. So now you got people standing outside her home. I mean, right now it's taped off, but once the tape gets lifted, you know that crowd is only going to double, if not triple in size now, because everyone wants to see the action when she actually gets arrested. Remember what happened outside of Brian Laundrie's home. Remember what happened outside of Leilani's home. Okay, Quentin Simon's home. Let's not forget what happened with Emmanuel Haro's home. I mean, this happens quite a bit. I think the only one that was like a real circus was Leilani's home, because there was just so much drama. People were getting arrested, all that stuff. Remember that stuff that was going on? That was years ago, but all that crap, people went out of their way, go out there and were basically protesting and, making their lives a living hell. And now when they get done searching this home and they don't arrest her and she goes back into that house, they are going to make her life a living hell. Wait for it. I'm surprised like Andatita isn't out there. You know what I mean? Since it's a few miles north, if I'm correct, of Santa Barbara, I'm not sitting here saying that it's a short drive, but I'm surprised we're not seeing the content creators out there yet. But once this becomes a major focus, we're going to see a lot of live streamers out there, right? A lot of people live streaming themselves out there, all that stuff. Get ready, because this is about to get, I think it's going to get big. I will say that.
Pushing for answers. They put up 4 signs that all said on both sides, "Where is Melodee?" Other signs said, "We're not going to stop until you tell us," things like that. And they wanted to organize. They organized through a Facebook group, like I mentioned, called In Search of Melodee. And they were talking about possibly starting a search party. When I talked to spokesperson Raquel Zick, she had told me, I wanted to know more about what goes into a search party. Is that something they want the public to do? Raquel had informed me that at this time, a search party isn't that beneficial if we don't know an exact location of where Melodee was last seen. So she could be anywhere between here and Nebraska. So starting a search party, she told me, could intervene and impede in their investigation. So they were really urging the public to maybe at this time not try to gather and start a search party, because that could impede in investigators and their current ongoing investigation. But Vinny, I do want to tell you one thing. When I was here earlier last week, I had noticed investigators going around the neighborhood and collecting surveillance footage, gathering from neighbor to neighbor, seeing how much home surveillance video could piece together a timeline. So I'm expecting and maybe hoping an update soon to see if those surveillance footage videos could expand more on where Melodee was last seen and at what time, and any other videos that we could see where she's leaving or entering the home, at least between October 7th and October 14th.
Absolutely.
I mean, we already know now, okay, the footage has been released, that they put out the security cam footage and all that. So we now know that is for sure, right? But, this is obviously there's going to be more information coming out here soon. I mean, after they finish their investigation into her home and into that rental and into that storage unit, once they get done doing all that, then I think that they're going to have more information, and hopefully they'll have enough evidence to take her in, or at least get a better idea of actually where Melodee Buzzard is, right?
Be extreme.
I'm going to play a little bit more of this.
Extremely revealing. Let's take a listen, though. You mentioned the public that had shown up. Let's show the folks at home some of what you gathered there and speaking with them.
We're all looking for answers, but, we're showing up today so that way, she knows we care. We're here for Melodee, and hopefully she will come out and tell us where she's at.
Besides the garage being open almost 48 hours now, which we don't know if she knows or not, she was burning something in the fireplace last night, but paper was coming out.
Organization is going to be key in this. If they're not going to press her until she cracks, I'm sorry, it's time.
Yeah, you can see the investment from the public there. Now, I know you also spoke with Melodee's grandma. I want to take a look at a part of that interview and then get some more details from you.
He said, "Did you know that your granddaughter was missing?" And I said, "Missing?" He goes, "When's the last time you talked to your daughter?" I said, "I don't know, 2 years, a year and a half ago." The psychologist that I was seeing said, I said, "Should I be keeping these things? I keep buying them for Christmas and her birthday." She said, "If you keep them for her, she'll know that when she was gone, you were thinking about her. So that's why I keep them." And sometimes I wonder, am I going nuts, right?
I want to take a look at another piece of the interview. This one is referencing a previous incident when Melodee was just a few months old.
About 15 minutes later, a sheriff calls me. He says, "I'm at your daughter's house in Orchid, and I was just getting ready to take your granddaughter Melodee with me to CPS because we're getting ready to take your daughter to the hospital." The house was in disarray. There were raw eggs in pans. There was rotten food in the fridge that I think she was trying to give my granddaughter.
So, Crystal, what is the status of Grandma's relationship with her granddaughter and with Ashley, Melodee's mom? And is she doing anything to try to track down where Melodee is?
Yeah, well, when I met with Lori Miranda, who you saw on screen there, and who I had the opportunity to sit down and speak with, Lori told me she hadn't spoken to her daughter, at least within a year and a half to 2 year timeline.
That's crazy.
She did tell me, and you could see one of those clips where she has a telescope that's in a box. She unwrapped it for me on camera, and she told me she was planning to give that to Melodee on her 9th birthday that just passed on February 10th of this year. She unwrapped it, and she said that she wanted to stop by and give her this gift, but she's been taking some space from Ashley. She described her mental health declining since roughly around 2016, a little after Melodee had been born. She told me that she suffered with BPD, bipolar disorder, was taking medication, has seen a psychiatrist to treat her mental illnesses, but I can't confirm that. This is just from what the mother had said to me. But again, she was just indicating to me that it's been some time. Her daughter is very erratic. Again, Ashley Buzzard. And I do want to also share that Ashley does have an older daughter. Her name is Destiny. And in that interview where she mentions that there was an incident in the past involving CPS, at the time, her oldest daughter, Destiny, was living with her, and 6-month-old Melodee Buzzard as well. She was explaining to me in detail this situation that happened in the past, again in 2016, where she received a call from law enforcement. She appeared shortly after that call and saw the status of Ashley's home when she used to live in Orchid, California at the time. And that's when she describes seeing raw eggs on the pan, rotten food in the fridge, and believed she was feeding that to her oldest granddaughter, Destiny.
Okay. So again, that's really, really, that's bad. Okay. And we already heard a little bit of that from Ashley Banfield as well. Ashley Banfield was talking about this as well when she was interviewing the aunt, right? And talking about the raw food, or like the raw eggs and the rotting food in the refrigerator and all that. And I mean, clearly this shows that this is someone who is in a serious mental decline, okay, in a serious mental health decline. I mean, and no one stepped forward to help her. That just seems weird. Or at least get aggressive and try to get in intervene. Then the other thing too is, if the daughter Melodee isn't having any mental health issues and is just for lack of a better word, level-headed, fine, you know what I mean, is just fine mentally, she was trapped. If you really think about it, she's trapped in that mug. That's terrifying. To think that you have somebody that is supposed to take care of you, but they can't even take care of themselves, and you're stuck in that house. Pretty terrifying stuff. And you have no place or no one you can turn to. That is some really scary stuff. Okay, I'm just going to keep it real. That's scary. And I feel so sad. I feel so bad for that kid, for Melodee, because it's like, see, this is the problem. And I don't want to be disrespectful to the families, but it feels like the families have failed this kid too. Because why wasn't this kid taken from her mom, or why didn't anybody intervene? If there was any type of intervention that happened, maybe this kid would still be home and not missing right now. You see what I'm saying? This is very weird. And the fact that we heard from the aunt basically saying, oh yeah, we thought she was adopted out, and there was no reservations over that? There was no pushback, no nothing? That seems weird, right? That's weird. Then on top of that, you hear the grandmother, the mother of Ashley, saying, yeah, we synced it. She was doing this to the other child too. No intervening? Something ain't right here. Something smells, and I'm not talking about the rotting food in the refrigerator.
Let me ask you about, I just want to clarify, when you were talking about suffering from mental illness, you were referencing Ashley, right? Not grandma, but grandma talking about Ashley?
That's correct. Grandma had confirmed with me, at least through our conversation, that her daughter does suffer from bipolar disorder, that she often creates scenarios in her head, and that's why she took some space from her. Really, the way she described it to me is that she did not understand her daughter. She didn't know how to communicate with her, and that's why she felt for her own safety, she needed to take a step away from her daughter, and felt a little bit of ease when she believed Melodee was going to school again. But then shortly after, she put her into the homeschooling program.
Right. Now, there was another moment when you were outside of Ashley.
No, this is not tonight's episode. This is a few days old. Just so you know. This is a few days old. But still, this is, I don't know. It seems so odd. I mean, you know how it is. I mean, people don't, it's unfortunate, but we live in a world where people are very, we all love to be complacent. That is just how we are, right? We love complacency. We love to stay in our lane to a certain extent. We have no problem talking ish on QWERTY keyboards, hiding behind our screen names online and all that. But when it comes to things that are going on with family, we lean on denial. We lean hard on denial, and we lean hard on complacency. Oh, it will figure itself out. It'll figure itself out. No, I don't want to get in. I don't want to get involved. I don't want to get involved in the situation. Nah, I'm just going to stand over here. And I'm just going to let it play out in real time, right in our faces. I think that's odd. And if you notice, This is a common issue that we're seeing over and over and over again in a lot of these cases. Look at the Emmanuel Haro situation. Not only was that guy, Jake the Fake, not only was that guy a repeat offender, okay, and that he's a violent individual, but also the people that were around Emmanuel knew things, knew that this guy was doing bad things. Rebecca didn't do anything either. She just sat there, complacent, just let it be what it was, not intervening. And of course, we can argue on the idea of maybe she was just terrified out of her mind. She was also a victim as well and all that. But at the same time, it got us to where we are right now. Her not stepping forward, her not taking the necessary steps to find safety and finding refuge away from this monster. And if things were done differently, that kid would still be alive today. In fact, he would be alive somewhere above ground, breathing, and not lost somewhere out in some sandy tundra, which is right now what's going on, right? It's crazy. But it seems to be this ongoing thing of this complacency thing. You look at the Quentin Simon situation. That woman, Leilani, was trash. Okay? She did not deserve that child, Quentin Simon. We can all agree on that. And how did she treat that child? How did the family, the parents that were actually living inside that house, treat that kid? The same way that the mother of that child was treating him, like trash. And instead of doing the right thing and keeping these kids away from the clutches of monsters, from the clutches of someone who's not mentally well, they just sit there and go, well, that ain't my kid, so I don't want to get all up in it. Well, wait a second. That is your child. That's your child's child. That is a piece of you. Your blood is in that child too. You need to do something about this. This ain't just somebody on the side, that saw something at the McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? It is, just some random stranger on the side of the road. You know what I mean? This is your family. And yet the community and the family that surround these kids, these victims, just sit there and go, yeah, they'll figure it out. It'll be fine. It's just a phase. What? You have a daughter, your own daughter, going through mental health issues. And I get it. Sometimes you want to give up. I get it. It's the same thing with somebody who's an addict. I get it. Sometimes you have to step away. But when you have kids involved, this is when you be aggressive over the situation. You can't just sit there and just think it's going to figure it out. You can't pray the bad away when it comes to those kinds of things. You have to be active. And this could very well be another situation where a little girl, now 9 years old, has endured 9 years of this BS, has been failed by the people that surround her life, or the ones that actually walked away. If you really think about it, they hadn't seen her in years, y'all. Do you know how easy it is to just drive up to somebody's home and knock on their door, who is a family member of yours, and say, hello? Not hola. Hold on. But knock on the door and say hello. 2 seconds. Especially if you live in the neighborhood or you live in the area, say it's a 30-minute drive. F it. I don't care. Takes 2 seconds to get in your car, drive over there, and see how they be living. You don't have to sit there and to tell them that you're on the way. Show up unannounced. Who gives a damn? If you care, you show up. You don't just walk away for years to the point where those family members don't even know what Melodee looks like at 9 years old. Do you realize how insane that is? If I could say that about my own extended family, I'd be very ashamed of myself. If I can't sit here and say my immediate family, oh, I know exactly what my nieces and nephews look like. If I sit there and I say I can't, I don't know what, I remember what he or she looked like when they were such and such age, but that was 7 years ago. That would be insane. Especially if you geographically live in the same area. This is not a situation where you live on the opposite side of the country. So you're going off and living your life. And then years go by and you're like, damn, I haven't seen, my siblings' kids and my sibling in a minute. Let me go and see them. No, they live in the same areas, guys. Same areas. And the fact that you got family members that don't even know what she looks like now? Wow. That's terrible. Complacency, y'all. People get comfortable in their own stuff and they don't want to get uncomfortable. But when it comes to situations like this, where you clearly see somebody unraveling, you know that that person's unraveling, they're not coming out of their homes. They're not allowing their kid to play with other kids. They're only allowed to stay with her, the mom, and that's it. You already know she has a history of not feeding or taking care of the kids properly. Man, you got to do full court press on that mug. You can't just sit back and just let that happen. Like I said, complacency. No one wants to get uncomfortable anymore. Especially when it comes to kids. That's insane to me. That's absolutely insane to me. Yeah, apathetic. Yes. Apathy, right? Perfect word for that. Apathy. Yes. What the hell? It's like, it'll figure itself out. No, it won't. What ends up happening is this, stuff like this. Or a kid is said that he walked out the house, found a way to open up the front door. His whole 10-month-old self was able to walk out the front door. Or it's a man going, hola, and punching somebody in the face. It's that apathy, y'all. It's insane. See, and I get it. I get that most of us are going to look at something like this and they're going to go, you can't be in everybody's business all the time. Yeah, I get it. You can't. You can't be Captain, you can't be Captain Valiant, Prince Valiant all day long. You can't be Superman. You can't be Superman and Clark Kent in the same place at the same time. It's literally impossible. I get that. But you can at least try. And if it doesn't work out the first time, you go back and you try again. Because those kids should be the focus. And the safety of those kids should be primary goal number one. Because I'm telling you right now, if I were any of these parents or any of these extended family members that saw all the red flags, saw all the road signs, saw all the warning signs, and I did nothing about it, I don't think I'd ever be able to forgive myself. Ever. This is insane. But I will say this. On a brighter note, real talk, on a brighter note, they are searching that woman's home. And hopefully, at some point here, we will find the truth, find out what truthfully happened to 9-year-old Melodee Buzzard. I'm hoping it's not anything sinister. I hope it doesn't end up being something traumatic. I hope she's alive and well somewhere, enjoying her life. I really do hope that's the case. But something tells me something bad happened here. What it is, I don't know. But I'm hoping that she's dumb and she left some sort of big breadcrumb somewhere. And I hope they find it during this search. Anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really means a lot. Thank you so much. Okay? Thank you so much for coming in and being a part of the conversation. We'll be back having more conversations tomorrow. Trust and believe. If there's any new updates in this case, I'll let you guys know. But like I said, let me just say this one last time. You really got to watch my shorts, my YouTube shorts, okay? And if you're not getting the notification bell on the YouTube shorts, then that's on YouTube. That's YouTube's fault. But if you have it set to all, the notification bell, you should be getting those alerts. They're very short, sweet, and to the point. But again, I've been covering this case over there. Okay? I have. Or, on the YouTube shorts. You know what I mean? So, just so you know, okay? Groovy. Camp Anawana, we love you with our hearts. And when we think about you, it makes me want to. Okay. Anyway, nobody remember that? But anyway, I appreciate again you guys being here. Again, make sure you hit that notification bell, all right? I'm going to say it again here in a second anyway. So before you head out, hit that like button down below. Crush it, do what it do. Hit that reaction button, please, and thank you. All right? Don't forget, if you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, and all those platforms, make sure you are following. Subscribe here. Subscribe here on my YouTube channel. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips, and my third channel, Pascal Raw. Subscribe to those channels. Hit that notification bell and set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it's random. And it's a lot of breaking news type stuff. So make sure you do that, okay? Please and thank you. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. All right? Appreciate all y'all for being here. We'll be talking here very, very soon. Have a great night, guys. Sleep very well. We'll talk here soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.